Hi, this is Joe from Beards, Blades, and Hair, and today I'll be doing a review of the Aberlite Go 2. It's the new heated brush from Aberlite, obviously, and we'll show you how this heats up as I discuss it a little bit. You hold the button down, the power button down for 3 seconds. You can kind of see that. There you go. And as you do, it will blink, and then it'll start to heat up. And you can see as it starts to go, you can see the temperature rise as you press the button. It'll go. It's pretty fast. So in my experience, kind of depends on what you're doing in the morning. But in my experience, basically what I do is I put my beard oil in, damp the beard, always damp the beard beforehand. Damp the beard, put the beard oil in. They say typically wait 5 to 10 minutes. They meaning Dancy Bearded. You're gonna hear that name a lot on this channel because that's who I'm familiar with. And then you're gonna apply the heat to it, whether it be a blow dryer or heated brush or whatever it ends up being. So that being considered, what I typically do is I put in the beard oil, wait 5 minutes, and then what I do is actually do my hair at that point. And we'll get into some of that, how I style my hair in the morning. I typically use pomades, but it takes a couple minutes to kind of get that going. It's plenty of time. I usually start up the heated brush before then just to get it up to temperature so it's ready to go when I start. I basically the only reason I waited today was basically to show you. So all that being said, once the thing heats up, which you can see it's pretty fast, we're almost there. We're almost getting there. So it's really not a big deal to just start it up and give it a minute, but I typically like to have it heated up and ready to go for me when I start actually brushing. So I'll show you the technique as well as we discuss. They do recommend something similar to this on, if you go to their website, and particularly go to their YouTube, not to just go with the grain, but to go kind of to one side, to back, and then I'll do the same on this side, on kind of the lower sideburns, I think is what I would call this. So one side, back. You want to go nice and slow. This isn't about, the brush isn't really doing the work, it's the heat doing the work. So you want to make sure you go nice and slow. So that being said, once you do that, once you've gone back and forth, I then go up, and you can experiment for whatever works for you, but I actually go up just to make sure I've gotten all the hairs. I think theoretically I could just go down, but it's nice to make sure I'm covering everything. One thing that's kind of interesting too is that people don't really recommend heated brushes for beards this long. I'll call this like a medium to long beard. People typically don't recommend them. Not really sure why. I personally fiddled around with a blow dryer years ago now, and I found it cumbersome and annoying. So I really didn't want to. So when I got back in, heavy into this and heavy into the styling, I was like, is there a better option? Can I do something easier? And I do find this pretty easy. You can see once I go up, then I just start really bringing in the styling. But I would say, as I'm kind of going through this and getting this going, it's a pretty great heated brush. I probably get anywhere from, I would say, 7 to 10 uses out of it before I have to recharge. And super comfortable. If you're ever wondering if you're going to burn yourself, you can feel the heat as you're going through, but it's certainly not hot. And if you're wondering if you're ever going to burn yourself, the closest I've ever got, I think my pinky once hit it weird randomly on the side. Like I hit a weird spot with my pinky while I was using it, and it hurt, but only a little bit. It certainly had no actual burns or anything like that. And that was totally seemed like a random thing based off how I was randomly holding my hand. I don't even have to think about it. If that's a concern of yours, it doesn't even have to cross your mind. Like you don't even have to be careful or anything. You can just go and you're safe. I'm pretty clumsy, and it was totally fine. The only downside I can see to this heated beard brush, and I would say one other thing before I get into that, is this is the only one I've ever used, so I don't have a lot of context. Oh man, I think that's going to start being a tradition on this channel. RIP headphone users. I am so sorry that hurt your ears, but I'm using an external mic, and just banged it again. I think we're going to have to make that a tradition, I think, on this channel. So I'm just going to be banging external mics left and right. That being said, it's the only one I've ever used, but I like it a lot. I think it styles super, super well. And the only downside I can see is the charging does take a really long time. I think that's intentional. If you know anything about battery, how batteries work, the faster you charge, typically the faster you're going to wear out the battery. So I think that's intentional, that they want a very slow charge in order to make sure this thing lasts years, we can definitely make that sacrifice for. But you get in a crunch, that's going to kind of suck. So something to definitely keep in mind with this heated brush is it's slow. I would say probably to go from a very low to 0 to full charge, probably take you 10 hours, 12 hours. So just something to factor in when you're deciding on when to do that. But yeah, overall, highly recommended. It's $150. I don't know if that's a lot of money to you. Don't spend it. It's fine. No difference to me. I'll link I'll drop a link below. It's actually another affiliate link of Dan C. Beard. I have no affiliate with this company, but I'll drop that below. And if you like it, give it a buy. So once again, this has been Joe from Beards, Blazing Hair. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them below and I'll get to them. Thank you.